Well, hey guys, welcome to day 2 this week of going through in our daily devos talking about grace. If you missed yesterday, we kind of defined our terms a little bit, so I'd encourage you to go back, take a listen. We really dove into what grace means. You know, it's a word that's mentioned over 100 times in the New Testament alone, so we really want to take this week and look at grace and really want to understand it so we can live it out in our lives every single day. And I gave you a challenge to read Romans 5 and Ephesians 2 every day this week. So if you missed yesterday, that's okay. There's grace for you. You can start today. And so we're going to take each letter in grace and kind of define it and focus on one aspect of what grace is. So grace, obviously the first letter is G, and G stands for gift. We're going to talk about the gift of grace today. And I want to talk about the 5 love languages. Today, I hope you are familiar with that. If you're not, super quick synopsis. Each person receives love very differently, and it's in one of these 5 ways. So there's quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, and then receiving gifts. If you don't know me, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm just going to give you a little, peek into my life. I am gifts all the way. The number one way to show me that you love me is to buy me a gift. It is my absolute, number one. I've been that way since I was a kid. And a lot of us that gifts is our number one, we get a really bad rap. People are saying, wow, it's so expensive to love you. And honestly, while they're not wrong, we get a really bad reputation. And I remember when John and I started dating back in 2014, his is not gifts, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second. So when he heard that I was a gifts person, he immediately thought, oh my goodness, I have to buy these expensive gifts. It has to be a diamond necklace or a new car or some big exquisite thing, which is funny because we were in college. So something really expensive was like, hey, you get to go to McDonald's and you don't have to pick off the dollar menu. That was an expensive gift back then. And so for me, I had to kind of show him, to be honest, it doesn't really have to be anything expensive. The big deal with people who are gifts people, it's that you give me something that you just saw and you thought about me. You were in the store and you're like, oh man, I'm just thinking about Sarah. And then you see, any kind of sour candy or any chocolate, anything, just giving you a hint right now, those are my things. And you're like, man, I thought about you and I want to get this for you. That's all that gift giving means. And what's funny is in marriage, and if you're married, you can attest to this. If you're not, I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up that I didn't get. The 2 people that God normally puts together, their top love languages are never the same. Now, maybe you're out there, go ahead, let me know your love language in the comments, shout them out to me. Maybe I can find some other gifts people, but they're never the same. So my absolute lowest, it does not get me going, it's not getting me excited, it's not a way to show me you love me, is words. Well, guess what? John's number 1 love language, the number 1 to show my husband, John Bothy, that you love him and appreciate him, he's a words of affirmation person, of course. So I'm having to learn how to speak out what I'm thinking instead of just writing it in a card and giving it to him. And he's having to learn how to do gifts. So all that to say, I'm a gifts person, shout out. So one of my favorite gifts John ever gave me in college, it was our first Valentine's Day together. I'm not a big Valentine's Day person. I just really want a gift, and then that's kind of it. So he got this huge teddy bear for me. Not lying, it was almost as tall as me. And I know that's not hard to do because I'm not very tall. I'm 5'3.5", and the half matters. But anyway, he got me a really big teddy bear and a bunch of chocolate and flowers and all this stuff. And he wrapped this huge box. I wish I had a picture. We just got rid of that teddy bear last year. It was really emotional. But anyway, he wrapped up this big box and he hid everything he got for me underneath this box right outside my dorm room in college. And I remember walking by and I was like, oh my goodness, that is so kind. It literally meant the world to me. It was one of my favorite things. We named that teddy bear Prince. We still had him until a year ago. And the thing about gifts is it can't be I tell you, hey, go to the store, get me a big teddy bear as tall as me, wrap a box in gift wrap, get me flowers and chocolates here, and then he just buys that. That's a honey-do list or a grocery list. That's not a gift. A gift is something that was not necessarily something I asked for, but you just thought of. And what I love is that grace is the same thing. Before we could ever even think of writing a list of what we would need, we would probably say more money, a spouse, a better job. He saw through all of that and said, you don't need that. The gift that you need is my grace. It's going to be my favor, my blessing, my forgiveness, my empowerment and enablement to make it through the day. He saw the gift that we would have never put on a list. His is a gift that is perfect. And if you're a gifts person, understand the gift that is grace is beyond anything we could have ever asked for. And so often we think of grace and so much about our relationship with God as this very heavy thing, but grace is it's a gift. It's supposed to be like freeing and light. And the beautiful thing is that now we have the ability to give this gift to someone else. There is enough grace to go around. It's the beautiful idea, and I wrote it down this way because I thought it was kind of cute. We can show people that there is a surprise teddy bear wrapped in nail-pierced hands and an empty tomb that is available at your door today. There is grace in the person named Jesus that we can accept. And also, it's just not kind to not accept a gift. It is there. It is available to you. And we can also then give it to other people. Ephesians 2:8, our verse from yesterday, says, "For it is by grace," now see if you catch this, "it's by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God." I had never connected the depth of this until really being very honest, until marriage and really understanding that gifts is my love language and that it is God's gift. This idea of grace is a gift that he freely gives. It cost him everything. It cost him his son's life, and then being raised again. It cost Jesus his reputation while he was here on earth. People ridiculed him, and he had a hard time while making sure he could get you the perfect gift, which was an open door into a relationship with him. So like I said yesterday, I'm going through and I asked our staff a couple ways that they view grace. And Andre, if you don't know Andre, man, shout out to Andre. He runs all of our lighting, and doesn't lighting on Sundays look amazing? And even virtually online, he is a mastermind. He is amazing and a great friend. And his daughter is so cute. But anyway, he said this, and I love this. He said, "I'm not a theologian, but grace is a gift that you don't deserve. It's inclusive enough for everybody. He gives us everything he has in the form of grace, a gift of eternal love and forgiveness given for you that you didn't earn." And then one more, Alicia Steele, man, shout out to her. She oversees all of our worship. She is amazing. She said, "It is a gift given and a sign of unearned mercy and love." I want to tell you, no list you could ever write, no, desire list, wish list, honey-do list could ever compare to the gift that God wants to give you today and every day. There's a teddy bear at your door every morning you wake up, and his name is Grace in the form of Jesus, and he wants to be there for you. So that is our word for today, is that grace is gift. I want to lean in this week, and tomorrow we're going to jump in and go even further into what that means about this gift of grace. If you haven't read Ephesians 2 and Romans 5 yet, that's your challenge for the rest of today. I love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.